Hello and welcome to this walkthrough of AesirX consent management platform for WordPress. My name is Ronnie and I'm the creator of AesirX. First, in the top here, we have the client ID, client secret, and license key. If you come in from our AppSumo lifetime campaign, that's where you need to enter your three information to make sure you're all up and running. If you have a 2-week trial activated and you then purchase a license afterwards, you can also see the countdown for how long that license left there until it has to get renewed. If you haven't bought a license yet, over here you will see that you're in a trial of your activation for the 2-week trial. Once you move a little further down here and see Google Tag Manager and our IDs here, and we support those, but we do it better than Google Consent Mode 2.0, meaning that we keep back patrons in JavaScript until after consent is actually given. We then get down to our AesirX Consent Shield for third-party plugins. This is a unique feature for WordPress where we go in, we automatically analyze all installed third-party plugins on installation, and then you can one-click, like we do with Jetpack here, you can set it to analytics, and then you can go down, add in pixel.bp.com, stats.bp.com. When you install Jetpack, which is an amazing plugin for WordPress, and many people use it, the problem is just that it collects data from all visitors and sends them to servers in America. So if you want to prevent that from happening before until after consent is given, you can checkbox it here, which will remove 5 third-party cookies. And then when you add these two, it will also drop that beacons and pixel trackers, etc. that collects and sends data to servers in the US. It's important that if you keep Jetpack and you do it like this, you also have to go into the actual text and you have to make sure that you inform your visitors that you're collecting this data and for which purpose and that you're sending it to servers in America. Now, the next I will show you is the consent lock. When you go to the consent lock, then in here, we will lock all the consent that's given or that's revoked, rejected, etc., including IP addresses, etc. If we're using the experimental decentralized consent, you will also see something about your privacy ID and wallets around here. Next, I will show you the consent modal. This is where you select the default option here, reject consent or customize. This is the default, but as I mentioned, we do it better than Google Consent Mode 2.0. We don't load any tags until after consent is given, reducing compliance risk. We also have the experimental decentralized consent for decentralized consent and ownership over here. We support 400 million users with decentralized wallets. And in the future, we'll be adding MBL wallets in the US and OIDI wallets in Europe so that more and more people can decentralize ownership of their data in the future. Yeah, even customized consent text. So as I mentioned before with the Jetpack example, if you're loading Jetpack, you have to actually put it in here and so the consumer is aware, so it's explicit and informed. We also have the detailed text and reject text tests here. You can update those as well. Next, we get to consent logics, and this is where you define if you want to run it in opt-in mode as in the European Union or in opt-out mode as in California. Depending on where you are in the world, you want to set one default. And then we also have global privacy control here. So if you enable this and you set it up, and the user comes to your website and they have a browser or plugin for the browser that supports the GPT signals, then we will automatically register it as a rejection of consent. We also have advanced analytics here for all of consent handling, where we show each category is partial, is it granular, is it opt-in, opt-out, rejection, revocation, etc., which languages, which time zone, etc. We have full advanced analytics here. Then we have tier handling. So no matter if you're using, let's say you're using the European Union mode for opt-in consent, then you can still go in the US and you could do opt-out consent as an override here. You do it based on browser language, on time zone in the browser as well. We're not using the IP address. We're not doing anything that would jeopardize in terms of third-party risk by collecting IP addresses and running it as third parties. Instead, we're using the available data that is legal and compliant to use for these things. You can, of course, add new as well. And in our latest version of our CMP 1.8.0, reactions support 33 different languages. So there's quite a bit to choose from also. Finally, we have our privacy scanner, which is loaded in from our website right here. So once you do that, you can enter your domain name here. And once you do that, you just click scan now. Then it will show exactly what third-party cookies, beacons you're loading that you need to ask for consent before you're actually loading. So once you've done that, you can see the list of beacons, etc., etc., etc. You go back to the consent shield. You go down to AesirX consent shield for third-party plugins, and then AesirX consent shield for domain pathways plugin, and you add in the domain names you're seeing, and then you can set them up, including the categorization. And then once you do that here, then you just click save, and now you have to go into the consent modal, update the consent text, and now you're 100% compliant, not just for cookies, but for all tracking technologies. Anyways, that was the short walkthrough. If you're a new AppSumo customer, came in for a lifetime deal, welcome aboard. We're happy to have you here. And if you have any requests or you need additional information, do go to our documentation site. We have it available, including video guides, including this guide you're probably watching right now. And remember that we are here to help. Thank you.